On the Burqa beat, I have some good news and I have some bad news. The bad news is government officials in Switzerland have rejected the idea of implementing a nationwide Burqa ban, even though such a ban does exist in a couple of Swiss cantons. The good news, Switzerland is now considering a new law that would require people to at least show their face when asked by officials. Now, full disclosure, I would prefer a ban of any face mask in public, but in a Daily Mail story, it appears that the reason the Swiss government turned a thumbs down to a nationwide Burqa ban outright was concerns, if you can believe it, on how authorities would deal with burqa-wearing tourists from Arab nations. In other words, so much for the old adage of when in Rome, especially when burqa-clad Arab tourists probably have plenty of euros to spend. So yet again, the bottom line is indeed the bottom line, and for the business trade, I guess it's a matter of who cares if deep-pocketed shoppers are wearing bikinis or burqas, as long as they are dropping copious quantities of cash on Swiss-made wristwatches and cuckoo clocks. But certainly a proposed law that would require a masked individual to unveil when asked to is a reasonable compromise, especially given that Switzerland is a Western nation in which the vast majority of people do not go about their business dressed in the sort of haberdashery a ninja might wear. After all, 2/3 of Switzerland's 8.5 million residents identify as Christians, whereas the Muslim population is 5%. Of course, this is not to suggest the entire Muslim minority is supportive of full face covering burqas and niqabs. There are many Muslims who are also appalled by these fabric coffins, and so they should be. First and foremost, there is absolutely nothing in the Quran that mandates such attire, and indeed the vast majority of female Muslims the world over do not wear niqabs or burqas. But even if it were a requirement, public safety should override all other considerations, including religious freedom. As well, in a Western democracy, one of the fundamental reasons we can freely walk the streets without having to deal with checkpoints every few clicks is that we can readily identify one another. If, for example, someone were to assault another person while wearing a disguise, then the person being assaulted is at a huge disadvantage in terms of identifying his or her attacker. This should not be tolerated. And isn't the burqa and niqab inherently misogynistic? The whole idea behind such draping is that if a woman were to expose her ankles or her face, well, surely she's just asking for it, right? Indeed, how better to solve the rape culture problem than by entombing females in loose-fitting black fabric from head to toe, even if the woman behind that cloak might be coerced into doing so. Oh, and incidentally, just where aware are the feminists on this file? In fact, why do I get the feeling that if the burqa or the niqab were being promoted by some Christian sect, the feministas would be frothing mad and going to great lengths to make certain this story stays on the front burner? In any event, good luck to the Swiss as they take another shot at regulating this vulgar attire. Reasonable accommodation can indeed be a good thing, but such accommodation has to work for both sides if it is to work at all. Otherwise, it's not at all reasonable. For the Rebel.media, I'm David the Menzoid Menzies. Hey folks, are you sick and tired of the shenanigans in Ottawa regarding the SNC-Lavalin affair? Well, go to our new website, jailtrudeau.com. That's jailtrudeau.com, and sign the petition.